boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy. Jimmy on the beat, boy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gin College Podcast. I'm your host, John J. II, here with Cody Almasy, my co-host. Cody, how are we doing today, buddy?
Hey, man. Football is back. It's here. We got a little bit on Saturday, and we're going to have a whole lot more than you can handle from, about 7 o'clock tonight until about 10:30, 11 o'clock on Monday. So this is one of my favorite times of the year, college football kickoff. It's just as much football as you can handle for basically 4 days straight. Gets you ready for NFL coming up in a little bit here. And yeah, I'm over the moon. Spent all of Saturday watching week 0 action. So couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so you got week 0 action. You got last week, you got Navy, Notre Dame, then you got USC, San Jose State. You got a couple big games there, a couple marquee games. And then you got, obviously that's week 0. So we're jumping into week 1 here, and we could not be more excited. And it's just really exciting what's going on. And I'm happy that we're here. I'm happy that we're in this moment because this is what we've all been waiting for. And this basically kicks off the season, not just for NFL, not just for college, but for everything. It encompasses and embodies everything. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're excited about. And it's finally here, baby. So let's talk about it. Let's jump into these stories, these breaking news events, everything, scores. There's games going on right now. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to dive into. So let's get into it and see what we got to work with, man.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the Thursday night scoreboard here, and two quality games going on. Lots of good football, but as far as the upper echelon, Power Five, top tier. We got Utah and Florida going at it, and we also have Nebraska and Minnesota going to town. And yeah, we can start up top. Gators and the Utes. Cam Rising, our boy, he sustained the ACL injury in the Rose Bowl last year against Penn State. So he's still recovering. He's almost there, but was not ready to go tonight against Florida. So it was Bryson Barnes stepping up, and he instantly quieted the Florida Gator fan base with his first pass going for 70 yards to the house and made it look easy. And that's what Utah has been doing for most of the night. The Florida Gators actually just scored their first touchdown to make it 11-24 in favor of Utah. There's 9 minutes left in the game currently, and the Gators, they're trying to make it a game, but we'll see how it develops. Our pass brings me to another good point. As long as everything holds true in these two games that we're going to talk about, me and John looking to start 4-4 in the pick or pass. A nice start that we're going to be proud to talk about. And yeah, we took the Utah money line, played a little safe. The spread was 5 points, but it's looking safe for the money line right now anyway, unless the Gators have a crazy comeback. And then on the other side of things, we're going to go early Big Ten matchup. Got the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Matt Rule taking on Minnesota, PJ Fleck. And that's everything you'd expect out of a Big Ten West matchup right now. It is 10-3. So 2 touchdowns total. We're in the fourth quarter. We took Nebraska plus 7.5. And Nebraska is out in front 10-3. And yeah, me and John are feeling good. Nebraska's feeling good in their first game with Matt Rule. And before I hand things off to John for a minute, I just got to give a shout out to the Cornhusker fans, because last night for a volleyball game, they had 92,000 people in attendance. They had it at Memorial Stadium where the Cornhuskers play football, and they set a world record for most fans in attendance at a women's sporting event. So
Wow.
hats off to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I seen it on TV. I was at work, and I'm like, why the hell are there people in the nosebleeds? Like, it's for a volleyball game. I thought they were inside a gym at first, and then I stopped and looked, and they're in Memorial Stadium outside, and the crowd is rocking. Almost 100,000 people to watch some women's volleyball. That's some dedication, and yeah, we'd love to see it here at the Gin College Podcast, because it's not just about football, but all of college sports. So when there's something like that makes the headlines, we're gonna bring it to our news cycle as well. So hats off to the Huskers.
Yeah, big time. And, a lot of times the team, the school, the college is built around the fan base. And we're seeing that with the Cornhuskers. They're coming out in full force. And we're potentially going to see the Nebraska money line hit tonight against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, which I called out earlier prior to the game. I took them plus 225 in a parlay. 3-leg parlay, nothing too crazy, but I wound up getting shafted by NC State against UConn there. Took a minus 14.5. A little bit of a lofty bet, but we're still kind of in, we're transitioning out of week 0 into week 1. And I would go out on a limb and say, even right now, this day and age, right now, right here, the 31st of August, 2023, there's really nothing that we can pull from right now to be really dead set on whatever bet we're taking. We have very little statistical evidence. We have very little, evidence on any other side of the ball that you want to look at. There's really not a lot to take from. So we're kind of shooting in the dark a little bit, as is Vegas. A lot of people are. We talk about this every year, every season. Teams and bettors especially are going to be shooting in the dark because you just have nothing to pull from. There's so many new players. There's transfer portal stuff. You got guys that moved on to the next level. So there's just very little to pull from right here. But I think something that really pulled me together is the Matt Rule coaching position, move there, and the fan base with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They are coming through, and they're showing themselves, and they're coming out in numbers. And as you spoke on about them coming out with the women's volleyball there, the fans coming out in numbers and droves. That's a big deal. That plays a real role in the success of the college athletics for any given school. If your fan base is there, if they're showing up and showing out, you're going to see that. You're going to see that translate into success on the playing surface. So it's a sight to see.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we will keep you updated if anything major changes in these two games. We're gonna rewind a little bit to week 0 Saturday, talk about two big time teams. They were the other part of our pick and pass. We had a Notre Dame minus 21 and Caleb Williams under passing yards. I think it was 313 and a half. So let's start with the Irish playing in Ireland. So, the fan base was out in droves buying tickets to go to the homeland and to see a very special guy behind center coming from Wake Forest. We've talked a lot about him, Sam Hartman. Seasoned vet when it comes to throwing passes in college football, 110 touchdowns at Wake Forest. And it is kind of an easy transition for him on Saturday in another country. Only had 4 incompletions, 251 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just the way he commanded the offense was something to behold. The rest of the Irish offense, you got a bunch of receivers, and then Audric Estime, he scored college football's first touchdown of 2023 and got the ball rolling. And yeah, that 21-point spread smashed. They covered it in the first half, so that was a big sniff. And I told you what, Notre Dame rolling into Marcus Freeman's second year, Sam Hartman, just the guy we've talked about. And then Navy going through a huge transition, lost their coach and kind of their identity. So we are who we thought them be, and we haven't seen a Notre Dame team like this in quite some time. Do you have anything to say about the Irish, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of what we expect. Under Marcus Freeman, we're expecting a win now program with Notre Dame. We're expecting them to play well. We're expecting them to win games in week 0. In this type of fashion, especially, and Navy just didn't show up. They just didn't rise to the occasion. They didn't rise above the adversity that they've been facing, and that was very evident. That was very evident. We saw that. We didn't see the fight in them. And we kind of expected them to give a little bit of resistance. Still a brand new regime with Marcus Freeman there at Notre Dame. Still got some new players and new positions. They're kind of playing out of their comfort zone a little bit. But we're expecting, we at least expected the Navy teams, the Army teams. We expect them to come out with some grit, right? We expect them to play hard. We expect them to give the other team hell, regardless of the line, regardless of what's stacked against them odds wise. We didn't see that out of Navy at all. And that was tough to see from a betting perspective. But if you rode Notre Dame, props off and hats off to anyone that took Notre Dame. I don't know if it was minus 21.5 or what it was, but that's a risky bet to take against the spread. So props and hats off to anyone that did that, rode that out into the sunset and cashed out on that one. So that's all I got to say about that. Navy didn't rise to the occasion. They got to make some major overhauls and adjustments going into week 1 if they want to make anything out of their season. Not a great start.
Most definitely. I think we just have to remind everybody that this Notre Dame team, which I think they're going to go far this year, lost to Marshall last year.
That's right.
The Herd. So I think that is easily and quickly forgotten. Definitely, if you're a Fighting Irish fan, you want it to be forgotten, but quick turnaround to be throttling a service academy team like that. So we'll move on to USC, Caleb Williams, CFP hopefuls, reigning Heisman winner. He did what he was going to do. He lit it up. It's San Jose State. A guy named Zachariah Branch looks to be an electric playmaker for USC, but that's not really what we're worried about. In week 0, we expect those kind of things from a team like USC, just outside the college football playoff last year. So what we're concerned about is their allowance of the big chunk plays. 57-yard reception, 2 over 20, 198 rushing yards on the ground, no forced turnovers, and they only got home 2 times against a San Jose State team. And we told you before we went into week 0 that we're going to have a close eye on USC, especially the defense, a Trojan horse defense, if you will, because that will be your undoing against any like explosive Pac-12 team like Michael Penix, Washington Huskies, this Utah team, Oregon State, and DJ Uyunglele. The list goes on. And so if you want to make it out of the Pac-12 and then compete with the big boys who are going to be waiting for you, Georgia, Michigan, maybe Clemson, those kind of defenses are suffocating and unforgiving. So you don't want to let the San Jose State team hang around, get that kind of confidence, score 28 points on you. That's how much they scored against my Eastern Michigan Eagles in a bowl game. That's a MAC team. So no offense to my Eagles, but Eastern Michigan and the USC Trojans, who gets 5-star defensive players, recruits, routinely should not be allowing almost 30 points to a Mountain West team. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
The USC Trojans, mark my words, they are the team in 2023, and I would argue in 2022, the most underpromised and overhyped team in college football. Not just in the Pac-12, not just in the West Coast, in college football. Okay, now you might attribute that to Lincoln Riley, you might attribute that to Caleb Williams, you might attribute it to anybody. The bottom line is we hit the bet, and we knew we were going to. He did have an electric second half, third quarter, whatever you want to say. He got to 278, and then he got pulled. That's what we kind of expected to happen. And I think that, since he had a somewhat of a weak first half, I'd say first quarter primarily, but mostly first half, that really aided us and makes us really look good as the bettors. So we're 4 for 4. That's really all that matters. That's all I'm really going to be, hyping myself up about. And the proof is in the pudding. That's how the cookie crumbled. And I expect the cookie to crumble in a very similar way for the rest of the season, especially for USC. I'm going to be praying on their downfall. I don't do that with a lot of teams. I'm going to be praying on their downfall all year. And that's not by my own feeling, my own instinct. It's by design, because that's just how it's written. And I'm so excited for them to come to the Big Ten, because that's when the true colors are going to be shown. That's when the true light will be shined or shown rather on the team, which they call USC. And I just can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think USC quickly forgets the dark times that were just there when they were struggling to be relevant until they got Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. And their fan base is just sipping that Kool-Aid, and they're going to get to the bottom, has a shot of some nasty gin waiting for it.
Oh, you're damn right. And even people around here, I got buddies that I got, talking to me about, I got to take USC, man. We're riding them all the way this year. I'm like, why? What's your deal? What's your evidence for that? What are you doing? And they don't have much to give me. Oh, Caleb Williams, he's just such a stud, man. He's such a playmaker. And I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is a bad football player. I'm not going to say that. But I just say he's overhyped, underpromised, and that really embodies the entire, play style of USC, in my opinion. So, and I'm never wrong. So,
and if you were watching college football, you're, doom scrolling, you were watching the whole world licking their chops, waiting for USC to fall. People are posting 14-21, the box scores, and just tagging their USC friends, which a lesson to all college football fans: don't post box scores in the first half, or wait till the end result, because it's sports and crazy things happen. You're going to look silly when San Jose State still loses by 28 points. But it was just kind of funny to see everybody get ready for the upset, and just kind of shows that the casual college football fan is waiting for the Goliaths to fall.
Definitely. I look at USC as the Dallas Cowboys of college football, and I'll just leave it at that. So if you know how I feel about the Dallas Cowboys, then that's the end of the discussion.
Yeah, just for reference, I'm pretty sure he's already posted a meme saying they've been eliminated from the playoffs, and we're not even into the regular season. So that should give you a hint about how John feels.
I will nor confirm nor deny that.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to the present now and look at what's in front of us. We have a great great Labor Day weekend ahead, a full slate, like I had mentioned, and we're going to give you what game we're watching each day for the full long weekend, starting with tomorrow night. A lot of good options. You got Eastern Michigan and Howard. You got Central Michigan, Michigan State. But we're going to look to Louisville, Georgia Tech, the Jeff Brown Bowl. Jeff Brown coming home to Louisville. He played there from '04 to '07 and looking to really bring them back to, the promised land, to Lamar Jackson days. And we're going to be tuned in because I think Louisville's only a 7.5-point favorite. Brant Key's trying to build on something here at Georgia Tech, and he started last year as the interim coach, got the nod as the head coach. So we're going to tune into that one. You have anything to say about that one before we move on to Saturday's affairs?
I like the Big Brome comeback story. I love Louisville in this one. I'd probably ride a money line just because I think it's going to be a tight one. But other than that, I think it's going to be a great contest, great game for Friday.
Yeah, Georgia Tech is a strange team. They give teams tough times, and then they'll get blown out, and then they'll give a team a tough time the next week, and good teams at that. But
oh, yeah.
We're going to go to where college game day is taking place, Charlotte, North Kakalaki. Once spent some time there, so they're going to be live in Roman Beard Park, a place I walked through many times. And the restaurant I once worked at is going to be in the background of college game day. It's pretty cool. That city gets crazy. They're going to be going wild from the break of dawn, and it's going to be insane. And that's not even talking about the football game on the field. We got Drake May. He has 46 NFL scouts coming to watch him that are credentialed. That's it's being played at Bank of America Stadium. It's the Duke Mayo's Classic, and the Duke's Mayo's officials have confirmed 46 NFL draft scouts to watch Drake May. And that just kind of tells you the hype around him, Mac Brown, trying to build on the best season he's had there in Chapel Hill since 1997. But Spencer under the radar Rattler has something to say about it. Him and Shane Beamer are going to come to town looking to hang a lot of points on that Tar Heel defense, which was one of the worst in the ACC last year. So that's going to be a barn burner. I like the over for it. Quarterbacks are great. Defenses aren't. Anything to add?
I mean, North Carolina -2.5. If you can't jump on it, then I don't know what to tell you. If you can't jump on it, I don't know what to tell you. Drake May, the proof is in the pudding. We've seen what he is capable of, and I just love what he has been able to do as a quarterback. And Spencer Rattler, yeah, he's a good quarterback too. But I think that spread is too good to be true, and it's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking. You got the Battle of the Carolinas here. It's going to be a hell of a college game day, I guess, just to put it that way. Give me UNC -2.5 all day long.
Yeah, almost like a home game for both teams. The atmosphere is going to be something to behold. Moving on to Sunday, the big one, a top 10 matchup. First time that it's ever top 10 in the series. The LSU Tigers taking on FSU Seminoles in Orlando, Florida at the Camping World Stadium. It's going to be a good one. I think FSU pulled it out last year, and both these teams, Brian Kelly, FSU, and Jordan Travis were kind of off to slow starts. We had our concerns, and they've both finished the season strong, and they're looking to build on it. Jordan Travis, Jaden Daniels, your boy Keon Coleman is going to be making an appearance. Him and Johnny Wilson, the other FSU receiver, might be two of the best wide receiving duos in college football. So I'm excited to see what they do together. Just going to be lethal combination for Jordan Travis. But that LSU defense is known to, take care of those kind of problems. So we'll see how they match up. I know you're ready for this one.
Oh, yeah, big time. Jordan Travis, love Jordan Travis as a quarterback. Followed him big time in 2022 until he got the injury there. And I know he has unfinished business, as do many quarterbacks, I would say, across the college football landscape. And then my boy Keon Coleman, transfer portal participant. And yeah, it hurts. It hurts a little bit because we could use him in East Lansing. We know we could. He must have not been getting what he thought he was deserving of out there in the great city of East Lansing. But to each their own, and you got to go out and chase those opportunities on your own. You got to forge your own path at the end of the day. So I love that duo, Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman. It's just a dynamic duo. That's like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams in their heyday. So I think that's going to be great. And LSU is a great team too because and obviously Chip Kelly and that whole thing. He's a victim of the coaching carousel. He is Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly. That's right. You got brothers in the same profession. Listen,
Chippy's out west.
Chippy's out west. Hey, they've all jumped around. I'm preying on LSU's downfall. I'm not a go Tigers kind of guy. I got buddies that are big time Tigers fans. Not me. I'm going to be preying on LSU's downfall this year. And like I said, I don't do that with a lot of teams. But give me Florida State. I love the Seminoles, and this is going to be a hell of a contest. We're going to be tuned in for this one.
Yeah, and expect to hear a guy's name coming off the edge for the Seminoles, Jordan Verse. Expect to hear that a couple times, and probably on Sunday too. Duden is an elite edge rusher, and he has the league's attention. So Jordan Verse, watch out for that Sunday night. And wrapping it up, Labor Day, Monday, 8 p.m., the nightcap, or the weekend cap, we'll call it. Clemson going to Duke for the first time in 11 years with the ACC divisions being dissolved. That kind of thing is going to happen a lot more often. So it's going to be interesting how Cade Klubnik and Dabo Sweeney respond to DJ leaving last year. They did look good in the Orange Bowl, beating Tennessee 39-10 when they made the switch to Cade Klubnik. But the Duke Blue Devils are not going to just roll over and take it. They're coming off a 9-win season, which I thought they were a basketball school. But 9 wins, you're making a case for a football school, and that's because of Riley Leonard. He's under center, and he's making things happen for Duke and Durham. And, yeah, I'm going to be watching this one. I'm always kind of hoping to see Clemson take an early loss. And, yeah, that's not going to change this year. Dabo is going for his 100th season or 100th regular season ACC win. So it might be a bad idea to bet against Dabo, at least the money line.
Yeah, Duke's going to try to win this game. They want to win this game, obviously. I know Clemson's going to be playing a little bit of defense. Even when they're playing offense, they're going to be playing defense because they don't want to lose this game, take an early loss. They don't want to do that. They're a win-now program. They have been for quite some time. But they're another one of those teams, man, that you don't mind if they take an early loss because that really opens up the entire ACC and the CFP too. So you don't really shy away from that just because you like having other teams be presented with opportunities to make it deep. So whatever happens here is going to be meant to be. I think that'll set the tone for the rest of the season. But these early in-conference matchups are going to be huge. They're going to present huge implications for what we're expecting to see going forward down the line. So
definitely one honorable mention I want to throw in here since me and John are doing so well on time tonight. Proud of you, my friend.
Hey,
but
you're running the show, my boy.
West Virginia, Penn State. That's another good cross-conference matchup that will be pretty telling, especially for Penn State. Almost 3 touchdown favorites. I think right now it's 20.5 in favor of the Nittany Lions, but it's in Happy Valley, and they're taking on West Virginia, kind of slumping ACC team. So it'll be a good, first test for freshman QB Drew Allar. That's getting all the love. So I like that he's not starting with, a cupcake, an FCS team, somebody with a little bit of challenge. You're going to have some good defenders in there. It's not going to be easy pickings. And I think that's a good formula for success when you got to play in the Big Ten. You can't just ease into things.
Yeah, it's true, and I mean, if you're going to tease this one as a better, I would take Penn State minus 13.5, just because you never know what the Mountaineers are going to come at you with. I know it's in Happy Valley. I know it's an early game. I know, and all this hurrah and all this, all this stuff's going on. But don't get twisted. Don't get it twisted. Don't get lost in the sauce. It's really easy to do. I do it all the time. But just try not to do it because, I know the bettors are going to want to take Penn State minus 20.5. Give me that. Lock it in. It's probably going to get up to maybe 21, 22, maybe 22.5 by the time game time comes to us. So just don't get lost in the sauce. If you're going to parlay that one, be smart about it. I usually never advise anyone to tease anything, but this is the one game that I would advise, tease it just under 2 touchdowns. I think they're going to cover that. But that 20.5, I think you kind of get into a gray area. So that's just my little words of wisdom. And I don't advertise for teasers that much, barely ever. So this is the one few time that I'm going to do it.
Everybody likes to be teased now and then, don't they, John?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, well, let's move on to this week's segment of Pick or Pass.
Oh,
we're gonna challenge ourselves. Yeah, we actually are. We're gonna challenge ourselves. It's looking like a lock to go 4-4. Minnesota, they're knocking on the door. They actually just punched in the tying score. It's 10-10, but we're safe.
Oh, you're shitting me.
We're safe with the 7.5. So we're pretty safe.
Right.
But
my parlay already got shattered anyway. So I'm sitting over here. I'm sobbing in my sorrows. I'm already almost through another can of Zinnies. So we're grinding over here. Week 1 woes. So it's all good. We got the 7.5. I forgot we got that with the pick'em last week. We're still 4-0.
That 0.5 is an amazing. And we said it's going to be a field goal game. It could come down to just a fieldy, and we're right on the money, buddy.
We really are. We know our shit.
Utah Florida went final. The Utah Utes 24, Gators of Florida 11.
That was a big cover. I got in there at minus 5.5, and I'm like, no Cam Rising. I'm kind of easing off of that bet a little bit. But you know what? I had faith in the Utes. I had faith in the Utah spirit, and you know what? I jumped in at it. Parlay still shattered, but that leg especially, I'm real happy that I dove in for that. And it was a great bet. It was a great bet.
Yes, it was. And it only makes you wonder what that score would have been if Mr. Rising had played. But true. I digress. We're gonna force John right into a tough one here with the first forced pick. There is no option for John to pass this one. MSU minus 14 at home against their in-state younger brothers, the Central Michigan Chippewas.
Yeah, you got Noah Kim right there on the screen, and or wait, that's not Noah Kim. Looks like him though.
It's not. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Is that him? Okay, I thought he was number 10.
That's your man. He's got the tats. He's looking good.
He does. That's right. Still getting used to the guy. Get used to a new face, new arms, new appearance there under center for the Spartans. And that might be an implication of the faith that I have in this Michigan State team. It's not great right now. I know that they love their summer games. They love their late August. I guess you can call this an early September game. Usually it's a late August game. But my faith is not with the Michigan State Spartans to cover in this game. I have to take the Chippewas plus 14. And let me explain why. So you playing under the lights. Obviously, everyone's got your number. You got a MAC team playing a Big Ten team at the Big Ten school under the lights. It's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be great, especially they got alcohol in Spartan Stadium now, which is you might see some tops coming off in Spartan Stadium. That student section, keep an eye on it. But nevertheless, I mean, this is going to be a great game. I just don't expect this Michigan State offense. They're so new. They're so fresh. I don't expect them to produce the amount of points that they need to cover a 14-point spread. You might ask me, hey, 14 points isn't that much, but 14 points is a mountain to climb, especially in an early game like this with, all the fans there. You got an in-state game. It's a cross-conference game, but it's usually it's all about the hype, and especially when the Chips come to town, it's a big game. So the Chips got a hell of a team. So I'm it's gonna be a hell of a contest, but I gotta take the Chips plus 14.
Yeah, anytime it's a directional school facing the Spartans or the Wolverines, they're playing for everything. That's if they take them down, that's a Super Bowl win for them basically. So they're playing for pandemonium. The chips will be fired up as they
Oh
do,
yeah. Well,
and
then you got Jim McElwain in there too as the head coach, and he knows his stuff because he used to coach at a team that just got they got their ass kicked a little bit tonight down there where Dan Lanning's at. Florida Gators. He used to coach the Florida Gators. So Jim McElwain, he knows his way around a football field. He knows his way around the gridiron. So I mean, the Chippewas, they're in great hands over there in the MAC with Coach McElwain. So you can't mess around with these guys.
and I'll just let the Spartan fans know they're lucky they're not playing another team in green and white and rocking the E's, because that'd be a whole nother
Oh
problem
boy.
for them.
Oh, we'd be in for it, man. I'm glad we're not either.
All
Shit.
right. We'll move on to my first forced pick. This is a live reaction here. I'm not sure which way to lean. Hardballless Wolverines are 36-point favorites versus a 9-win ECU team last year. And it's tough, because they could pull off the brakes a little bit if they do roll through them with Don and Blake Corum there. But I could also see ECU, coming out and trying to push us 36. That's 5 tutties and some. So that's a tough one to pick. I'm gonna go with the Wolverines.
You can't go with the money line. You going minus 36?
No money line. Yep, I'm gonna take the Wolverines 36. I'm gonna be stressing out for 4 quarters. It probably will take them the whole time to cover. And man,
don't say that.
I don't know. The ECU, I think, because they're gonna come give us a little, maybe an early punch in the mouth or two, and wake the defense up. But I hope they prove me wrong. And that's why I'm going to go with the Wolverine points. I'm taking.
Hey, that's expected. That's expected to get punched in the mouth a little bit by ECU, or any team really, any non-conference team. They're gonna take any shot they get at the Michigan Wolverines if they get to play them. But Michigan has the high potential to run it up on a team. Okay, they can get points on the board quickly. So if they do that, I say if they get to 20-21 within the first half and they stay on the gas going into the second half, coming out of halftime, out of the locker room, punch it hard coming out of halftime, because you might have some subs in there. You might have some guys that might be lower on the depth chart than you might want them to be. But they still got to power through this ECU team if they want to cover, especially. So this will be a good one to watch.
And the more I think about it, I am loving the Michigan to cover, because they're starting to get to a point where this team is expected to go the distance this year, but you got guys waiting in the wings who are ready to compete now, and they're ready to showcase some skills that they have, and to be the guys once this team, JJ, Blake, and Donovan move on. There's guys waiting in the depth chart who are very, very talented and waiting to show off some skills. So I know that a quarterback, Orgy, he's absolutely a freak athlete, can throw the ball near 70 yards. And Jim Harbaugh is rumored to have implemented a special package for just his kind of athletic ability. So with that in mind, I think maybe they do try to, extend the score and kind of put it to them. So I'm going to ride the Wolverines.
Michigan is at an inflection point in their existence as a college football team, and one of the oldest college football teams in existence that is currently still playing. You might see their depth chart fluctuate quite a bit. You might see it move, because they're going to need to have the cream rise to the top, and they have to have the cream of the crop to be able to be that team. And they have a lot of unfinished business. They are right there. They're so close. Really, they just got to make it to that final game and execute at the highest level. That doesn't mean they have to have a perfect season, but they have to get there. They have to give themselves the opportunity with the best of the best that they have their hands on. So I think Harbaugh has that in mind. He knows that his depth chart is somewhat liquid, and it has potential to move and fluctuate on a weekly basis. And it's going to have to. Now you need to have guys that are structured. You got to have your core guys that, it's going to take a little bit for them to move in the depth chart, but you're going to have other guys too where it's like, oh, I'm between this guy and the other guy. So I'm going to play them both, but who's gonna rise to the occasion? I'm not talking about a JJ Cade situation. I'm talking about still skill positions, but who's gonna rise to the occasion and execute on the football field in a real game situation? That's what he's gonna be looking for, and their OCs are gonna be looking for that too, as are their DCs. So I'm looking forward to Michigan. If someone doesn't perform, if they don't produce, they're going to be removed from the conversation rather quickly. I think you might see that this year.
Definitely. Yeah, especially at the wide receiver position because you have Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson. But after that, big drop off. So I think we could see lots of guys come in and out. And yeah, great analysis there.
Thanks,
Mr.
buddy.
Bink. Let's move on to our other two here. Should be a little bit easier for us. No emotions are involved. And I present to John Washington, 14-point favorites at home against Boise State. The Broncos, no blue turf. What do you think? Are you picking or passing?
I got to pick this one. Because, Michael Penix Jr., he came out and smacked my Michigan State Spartans in the mouth last year. And that was a tough pill to swallow. But once we saw that happen in front of our eyes on national television, we had our eyes on this Washington football team. And don't get that twisted with the Washington Redskins that will be coming back. But Michael Penix Jr., he is the real deal. And you talk about unfinished business. Now, this guy has some serious unfinished business to attend to. And he has to execute this year. In Boise State, they're no cupcake team. They're no cupcake team. We talked about them previously in the pre-stream lobby. And it's just so hard to pick these minus 14 spreads. I don't care if you got Georgia playing East Carolina. It's a tough pick. Because 14 points, there's no wiggle room there. You don't have a 0.5 where it could go either way. And that really puts Vegas in a tough position, too. It's not as much the bettors. You're going to have a lot of pushed bets here. And you could possibly have one here. Real easy. But I'm going to take Washington minus 14. I'm going to take a minus 14 just because I really have faith in Michael Penix Jr. It's do or die time. He's playing for draft stock. And he's the leader of this team. So we're post-COVID now. We're way out of the weeds there. You got to get the job done, and you got to execute. Period. End of story.
Yeah. The NCAA's leading passer in yards, so I think it's a good bet. I do hate the minus 14. I don't know why we keep getting these lines. No, half points.
Because Vegas doesn't know what to do. Vegas has no idea what to do. They're scratching their heads just like the bettors are. So, we're going to make a couple bets push. We're going to kind of feel these teams out. We got to put a line out. But we're not confident as the guys that write the lines because we have no idea where it's going to go. So if these bets push, we're not really, we're not too. We'd rather them push than be paying out, on a cupcake spread, right?
Yes, sir. All right. Minnesota winner 13-10 over Nebraska. Kicked
a train coming through your backyard.
Kicked a field goal at the very end. The Golden Gophers pulled out field goal game.
Oh my God!
We called it.
Thank God that wasn't the last leg. If that was the last leg of my parlay, I just needed Nebraska to win at plus 225. Then I would have been, yeah. I'd be probably diving through my window right here.
We're safe in our picker pass though. We took the plus 7.5, so they cover the spread. But Matt Rule, that first win evades him. It would have been a nice one. Conference win, and just gets away from him there.
Okay, all right. I got to lay some ground rules. Rules here. For picker passes going forward, I say we either got to pick the spread, or if we pick the money line, it's got to be at our disadvantage. But in that same breath, it's like, why would we even take the money line? If we're going for wins in the win column, we might as well just take the spread. So that's where I'm at.
Because we the only money line we took was Utah, but they ended up covering pretty handily. So yeah, we can
That's
do that.
right. That's right.
All right. Well, that brings us to this week's. After we are now officially 4 for 4 in pick or pass, I will pick this one. Oregon State, known for their defense last year in the Pac-12, and we all seen what happened when San Jose State played a game. So that's kind of the push or pull. You get the 55 here for the Beavers and the Trojans matching up. Oregon State at home for San Jose. And I think that DJ Uyunglele and the Beavs are going to be reinvented. He's been reading the receipts, seeing all the haters. He was hearing them cheer for Cade Klubnik all year long. So I think DJ U is about to come in and do something similar to what Caleb Williams did in week 0 to the Trojans. But I think that the Trojans also, put up some points, just like they did against USC. They do have some playmakers, and Cordero there behind center can get creative and make some things happen. So I think that this is going to hit the over, picking the over 55 for Oregon State versus San Jose State. That's Sunday night.
Yeah, as long as DJ doesn't get cold. I mean, if DJ's cold, then Oregon State is at risk of losing this football game. Now, if he's hot, then all they really need to score is 30, because I don't think we got to worry about San Jose State scoring 30 points. I like to pick with this over. 55 points is good. And you could see that fluctuate maybe going to the weekend. So I say the quicker you get on that, the better. That could get up towards the 60 range. So
Definitely
watch out for that.
Up there. So good call there. I think that
Lock it
brings
in.
us to the close of the show. Want to start your closing remarks first?
Yeah, sure. So closing remarks. Football is here. Week 1 is here. You've seen us do some pick'ems. You've seen us get our feet wet with a little bit of betting here in college football, and it's exciting. It's a great time to be involved. It's a great time to talk about it. We got fantasy going on. The Gin Fantasy Capper League just hit ground. We just broke ground with that today. That's another exciting thing. Not really related to college football, but it's football as a whole. Football as a whole is beginning. It's coming back, and it really started last week, but this is our first week. So just my only closing remarks regarding that is embrace it, take it with an open heart, and just enjoy the football, but take a lot of information in. Start taking a lot of mental notes, because I'd say the less betting you do this week, I know everyone wants to bet. Everyone is bet hungry. Everyone's itching to throw those bets on them bet slips. Throw 5-leg parlays out there, and it's fun. I would say do it. Don't throw a ton of coin out there, just because there's not really a lot of information that we can pull from right now. But wait for week 1 to happen at least, and then going into week 2, you can go into it with a little better mindset, a little more education, and a little smarter attitude. A better thought process going into it. So that's my little 2 cents, my words of advice, words of wisdom. But definitely, I know people are going to throw bets out there. Go ahead and do it. Just don't throw a ton of coin out there. Don't throw the whole bankroll out there in week 1.
Yeah, play a little pizza money, a little hot and ready.
Yeah, a little pizza money.
$5-6.
Yeah, throw $5-6, 2-3-leg parlays. Get lucky, you hit. Maybe make $50-60, and then that gives you money for the next week. Maybe throw a $20 3-leg parlay in week 2. So gives you some opportunity, gives you some breathing room, and gives you some more opportunity to win.
Yes, sir. And my only words of wisdom for you will be, if for some reason the betting market does open up for Eastern Michigan Howard, go to Samson Evans, Eastern Michigan's running back, his over rushing yards, hammer it hard, because it's going to hit. You might go for 200 against the HBCU. So as much as Pete's money as you got, I guess.
That might be a $40 Vegas pizza.
Yeah,
throw that bad boy on
pizza.
there. Yeah, some premium toppings on it. Jeez, oh Pete. So are you saying the betting lines are not open for that prop or what?
Not even the game at all. There's not even a line for the game available.
Unbelievable.
No, it's not on betting markets currently. So I'm a little upset.
I'm upset too.
Yeah.
That's a travesty.
What can you do?
We should see these teams that, they're making a splash. Eastern Michigan is making a splash. You will see them on betting markets sometime.
Definitely.
But I get there's a lot of lines to make. There's not a lot of information out there. Maybe week 2, week 3, you might have some information to pull from. That's the thing you see. Unless they're a big marquee game, you're seeing Vegas not even put lines out because they are so unconfident in the pick, where they just rather stay away from it because it's like, okay, we don't need to put a prop on this guy because it's like we don't know enough about it ourselves. We don't want people to act like they know what they're talking about. Like people like you actually know what you're talking about. You know the running back, you know the offense, you know the team. So I think they feel like they're losing an advantage by even putting a line out. So
Most definitely.
it's unfortunate, but I can see why they do it.
Definitely.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. That brings us to the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check us out on social media. Our link tree is in the bottom of this podcast. Go to ginsportsnetwork.com for all of our IG posts, articles, and updates. Constantly being updated every single day. That website is being attended to. And hats off to Cody for these amazing graphics that have been presented to us in the podcast, the in-podcast graphics for the pro scenes. They are amazing. They're amazing. Hats off to Cody.
Thank you, sir. I
Does a
take
great
pleasure
job,
in making our product look pretty.
Hey, you do a great job doing it, man. Do a great job doing it. I want to make sure that never goes unnoticed. But yeah, make sure to tune into the Gin College podcast every Thursday. We're talking about lines. We're talking about the players. We're talking about everything that we have knowledge of, maybe even stuff we don't have knowledge of. We're taking hot takes. We're throwing them out there for the people. Make sure to join the conversation. Get onto us on the website, ginsportsnetwork.com, and at Gin Sports Network and at Gin College on IG. Follow us on social media. Get a hold of us. Talk to us. Chirp in our ear. We need it. We need to stay awake. College football is here, and we need to act like it. So we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Gin College podcast. I'm your host, as always, John J. II with Cody Almasy. Have a great night.